Now that you've seen how to import and organize your SQL servers in the SQL Backup GUI, it's time to learn more about the timeline. I'm back working with the SQL Server Backup dashboard, and first I want to show you the status icons. You've already seen that you can view the status of an instance, but you can also see the status of the databases. Notice that the test database is offline and the inventory database is in standby. The timeline shows you any backups or restores performed with SQL Backup and also natively. Here is a full backup of AdventureWorks that was successful. Here's a backup of another database that was also successful. This blue mark is a restore, and here's a restore that failed. The bottom portion of the screen has several tabs. This tab shows the activity history for whatever you've selected in the server pane. When I click an activity, the timeline adjusts to that particular time. When I right-click, I can restore that backup, view the properties, or the log. I'll choose Properties. This tells me information about the backup, including that it was copied to a network location. You can also view the log from here. I'll close this and this. Here's a full backup that failed. I can click it to get more information about what went wrong. I'll close that. I'm going to click on the test database because it has a more interesting history. You can see the past few transaction log backups had failed since it's offline, but note that the symbol for full, transaction, and differential backups are different in the activity pane. And the height of the mark in the timeline also changes based on the type of backup. The transaction log backup mark is about 1/4 of the way up, while a differential is about half. The red symbol here means that the backup was taken by SQL Backup. If that symbol is missing, it means that the backup was done natively. If the backup is encrypted, you'll see the lock symbol. If the backup has been copied to a cloud provider like AWS or Azure, you'll see that symbol filled in. And if the backup has been copied to a network share, you'll see that symbol here. The outcome can either be failed, warning, or successful. You may also be interested in how long the operation took and information about compression if it was involved. The next tab is the Progress tab. You'll see any operations that are in progress at the moment, and of course it's filtered by what you've selected in the server pane. There's nothing going on, so I'll switch to the Jobs pane, and any jobs affecting this database show up. The symbol tells you that it's a SQL Backup job, and this one says that the backup will be encrypted. I'll right-click to start it. This dialog just tells you that the job is started, not the outcome. I'll go ahead and close it. Now on the Progress tab, I'll need to wait for a refresh, and there it is. I'll click it to see the current timeline. Notice that the symbol has diagonal lines. That means that the operation is in progress. Now it turned red, but I think that's because it's backing up another database and the job's not quite finished. I can see the job properties and modify them here if needed. And by the way, you'll learn all about setting up backup jobs in a later module. I don't want to change anything, so I'll cancel out of this. Back on the activity page, I can see the backups. One more thing, an easy way to get back to the current time is by clicking this yellow icon. In this module, you got a quick tour of the SQL Backup GUI, and you'll learn a lot more in later modules. You learned how to import servers and organize them. You learned how to get around in the SQL Backup UI. Next, it's time to learn how to install the SQL Backup server components.